Greetings from Costa Rica, and thanks for joining us for this live, ultra exciting Costa Rica real estate chat here on Friday. Because for the first time ever here on Costa Rica Met, we have a live studio audience. Thanks for joining us, Justin and John.
Hey, thanks.
We've invited a live studio audience in here, not only because they were just touring and it was convenient, but also because we wanted to liven things here with the dynamic live in Playa Junquial. You might notice I also have this person next to me here that I haven't invited to speak yet. Welcome to the show again, Camille.
Thank you, and hi everyone, and thank you for the audience.
Absolutely, there's a lot more tension in the air because we're being watched by so many people. Sean V is already tuning in. If you want to comment, folks, be sure to send us your questions, comments, concerns. We'll try and address them. Today, we are talking about the Playa Avellanas real estate market. Now, you may remember, if you're a faithful Costa Rica Mat follower, that I did a Playa Avellanas market report. I don't know how long ago. I think it was about a year in January of 23. We will watch some of that market report. We'll talk about how things have changed since then. First and foremost, though, I want to talk about one property that hasn't sold in Avellanas. John is joining us graciously. John, what the heck happened? You're in my office. You've made 2 offers on Costa Rica properties, had 1 under contract. Why don't you own anything still?
First off, I think the word of the day needs to be persistence. I've had 2 separate offers on 2 separate properties. Both have fallen through, and they both seem like it was the sellers that decided not to sell. Why? We don't know. We feel it's probably because maybe they felt they were going to get more money and a little bit more time. Yeah. But I'm here. I'm still in the game, and I'm going to keep trying.
He's being very gracious. His second attempt, he didn't just make an offer. He got the property under contract. The seller later on said, well, actually, we didn't have a contract. That was the thing. We agreed to terms. They refused to sign something. Eventually, the seller says, I want $2,000 more. Then they wanted $3,000 more, and you drew the line at the total of like $6,000 more than the original deal.
That's right.
Yeah. So we've had some interesting experiences. It's amazing that he's here smiling and very happy about everything. His brother, Justin, has a property in Playa Avellanas that we're going to be talking about among the other points that we touched today, going over the market there and how things are looking. As I mentioned, if you haven't done so, be sure to subscribe to my channel, give us that like or comment during the video, or if you're watching this post-production and you want to ask something, we're more than happy to come back to questions later on. We will be back with our Playa Avellanas market update report after I have a sip of this delicious beer. Stay tuned. All right, when I started talking about Playa Avellanas last year, there was about to be some fundamental changes in the community due to new water service.
Yes.
Tell us about that moment, Camille. I think you might have been on my channel at that point.
Yes, maybe I was. So this is the history of Avellanas, right? It's always been the most beautiful beach south of Tamarindo, a beautiful community too, very nice. But then there was no city water, right? So then the city water came a few years ago. I think it's been 3 years now. Mm-hmm. And then everything changed because now whoever owned property there who couldn't sell before started to be able to sell.
Yep.
Right. So this was a tremendous boom for the growing of Avellanas.
And let's go back to that January 23 video that I made. Here I was talking about some of these sales that started happening, and in particular, the bigger sales in the community that were important to the future. Really importantly, you've seen some bigger pieces of land in the area sell. And recently, in May of 2022, there was a 2.3 hectare piece, or that would be about 6 acres, that sold at a total of $45 per square meter, or just over $1 million total closing price. That hectare and several other larger parcels had all closed in that $40 to $60 per square meter closing price. The
See if we
area
can get around to the conclusions
before
that I
and
drew.
found a rental somehow. Actually, let's just stop listening to my former self. You guys were looking back at Avellanas. Justin, when did you get your property there, and why were you looking at Playa Avellanas?
I guess I was looking kind of all over Costa Rica at the time for a few years, and kind of mainly settled kind of in like maybe the Playa Grande area, and I actually came down to look at some property in Playa Grande, and then also I was going to check out Hacienda Pinilla in Avellanas, but it was more expensive for lots in there at the time. When I actually came here and got feet on the ground, I realized like this was during the pandemic. So this was March of 2021. So
Well, during the pandemic would have been 2020.
Yeah, it was right during the pandemic. And the reason I was originally going to buy like a gated community was because then I'd have security and it would only be like a cottage. I'd want to live here part-time, go back to Canada. And that all kind of changed during the pandemic. I was kind of, I'd sat on my couch for a year going crazy. And I came down here and I'm like, I could sell my house in Canada and move here and buy a property that isn't in a gated community, that doesn't have, HOA fees, and I have the freedom to do with whatever I want with my property. And so I decided to also include looking at just regular properties.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend who was living in Avellanas and was willing to take me and show me around the area.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, sure, let's go, let's look at stuff, and got a lot of information about the different lots here. And
so for you, it was kind of, maybe I don't want to be in a gated community. Avellanas currently has a growing number of gated communities, but it is always been a spot with plenty of sort of open space. This is rural Guanacaste, and because there was no water service there, you had zero construction in Avellanas from probably 2011 until 2020 or something like that. It was a huge gap where Avellanas was just that absolute rural area with nothing going on. There are some gated communities sprouting up now. And there are a lot of amazing new businesses coming up in the community. One of which I just want to quickly, before we get too much further, bring up Justin's property as it is today. The One Life Hotel Jungle Villa Walk to the Beach is one of many things that have come up in Avellanas over the past few years. But by far, it's one of the greatest ideas that reflects the clear intelligence of the people behind it. That's my attempt at some just raw flattery. Oh, I was trying to bring this up here. It didn't. Here we are. One Life Jungle Villa Walk. Your title needs some work. Give me some capitalization here.
We have.
Did anyone ever tell you about APA capitalization or anyway. One Life HJVWB should be capitalized. He's got a hotel. Sorry. Anyway, I couldn't bring up the title quickly. You've seen an explosion of construction in the community. Not quite as many places that have gone up on lots outside of the gated communities as you've seen. The Enclave, for example, and The Point, two communities that really, really took off and had a lot of construction going on immediately.
Yes, they were the first one.
Exactly. And definitely you've seen a lot of that condo inventory come up. Justin's villa, the property that he has, I was amazed to hear that you've been booked for the entire high season this year in Avellanas. Do you think that would have been typical for a new business 10 years ago in that area?
No, I don't think so. I think it's always been hard in Avellanas. I mean, in the past, just because, there is the dirt road and it used to be rougher than it is today. And then, you had these few hotels and then not so many people used to visit Avellanas. The beach used to be quite empty and now it's not the case anymore. So I'm not surprised. And good job. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Great story and I'm very proud of you.
Yeah. No, to be fully booked anywhere in this area is always a big accomplishment. Justin has 3 rooms starting at just $130 per night. And if you work with Coldwell Banker Pacific Realty and stay at his hotel, you also get a free bear hug from Justin. He was going to give a discount, and I don't want him to give a discount. $130 a night. Once he pays his taxes, cleaning people, benefits, everything is almost nothing. So give him $130 to stay in one of his beautiful villas by his enormous pool. Let's go on. I wanted to start talking more, looking at what's going on the ground in Avellanas today. Camille and I took a tour through the community only minutes ago, really, to see what's happening with all this construction that's happening in Avellanas. And as we drive through the community here, I want to start talking about some of the things that people are seeing. And in fact, I apologize, this video was queued up at the very end. Let's start out much closer to the beginning. Now, it's important to understand this place that we're starting. Where are we here, Camille?
So we are at one of the back entrance and exit of the luxury gated community called Hacienda Pinilla, where we have a beach club, a golf court, tennis courts, pickleball, and so really there is this entrance that is literally 10 minutes drive from Avellanas. So for golfers and pickleball players, this is like, wow, this is so great. I can be, by the beach and then just hop in my car and go play golf.
Let's bring up this exact location where we're starting our virtual tour on the map. And I'm going to go ahead and give a nugget of information that's extremely valuable to anybody watching out there. This entrance to Hacienda Pinilla, where we start out our tour, the camera angle that we're looking at here, down there, they do have a little guardhouse at the entrance to Hacienda Pinilla. But due to Costa Rica's incredible public access to beach laws, this is actually a public entrance. And if you want to come in and drive through the community of Hacienda Pinilla and end up at the southern end of Playa Langosta, you are welcome to do so through this entrance. Hopefully not a lot of people from Hacienda Pinilla are watching right now because they might not like that announcement being public. I will assure them that my audience is very small, so don't worry that this is going to be some viral secret getting out there. So here we're leaving the southern entrance of Hacienda Pinilla and headed towards Playa Avellanas. Obviously, this video taken on March 15th reflects the peak of our dry season. We haven't had rain here since December. We're expecting rain at any minute. Hopefully, it'll start with some light showers here soon. Before we get too much further along, let's stop here. Well, actually, let's wait until we come up to the first significant landmark, which really is the Numandi new project. What is Numandi about?
So Numandi is a new gated community. It's about, one of the pitch is really protecting the nature. So I'm glad we have this kind of developments going on. So basically the concept is that they're selling pre-constructed houses. So they have, I think, 80 units total is going to be, and you have the choice from 3 to 5 bedrooms, if I'm correct. And then what's nice about this development is that they so want to conserve the trees that you actually pick the lot that you like within the community, And then they show you what kind of designs you can have on this lot, whether you want 3 to 5 bedrooms, according to the trees already on your lot. So it's not very usual to see this, so I think it's fun.
Yep.
And so basically you pick the location within the community that you like the most and the land, that talks to you, and then they tell you, okay, so those are the possibilities on this land that we designed especially for the land. Of course, they're gonna have also community amenities like a pool and well, I'm not sure exactly what yet, but it's going to be a proper gated communities with some community corners.
Yeah, you see their marketing is all about tree hugging homes.
Yes.
Which good for them for coming up with a good marketing phrase. I have to hand it, it's simple, in 3 words you hear what they're going for. Personally, I've owned 2.5 acres of land here for a long time, and I know trees mean branches, pruning, all kinds of difficulties with the wind, seeds, fruit, on and on. And honestly, I regret that I didn't cut down a few more trees that were close to my house prior to building altogether. But they're going to be offering homes. What's their price point going to be?
I think it starts at $739,000 for the 3-bedroom, and then you have all the stages, between 3-bedroom to 5-bedroom.
Okay, so here we are driving past the Numandi project. They are going to have a wall along the entire public road frontage, which honestly some people weren't thrilled about. I saw some comments on social media. I wanted to go back over to our local experts, Justin and John. Have you guys heard anything? Actually, let's talk to Justin. What kind of splash has Numandi made in the community? Have you heard anything about it?
Yeah, I mean, instantly I was excited when I saw their sign. The first thing I wanted to know was, isn't that land owned by Hacienda Bonilla? And I think it was, or I think that
This would have been one of those large parcels sold that I was talking about.
Yes, exactly.
They had purchased this. I don't think it was owned by Bonilla prior to this owner. It was somebody else.
Yeah.
It's on that side, and I can see why you would think it's just Bonilla over there.
Yeah, but it is walking distance to the beach, really close walking distance to the river. If you want to access through that way, it's nice, it's pretty. There's caimans in there, but they're not very big. They don't bother you.
Yeah.
I was kind of excited because it's bringing a lot more money and wealth to the area. That means increased security in the area.
Yeah.
One thing people might ask is, what are the police like in Avellanas? And they do come through.
Yeah,
but,
I've seen them.
You don't really see them. But we have private security in Avellanas. A lot of people in the neighborhood pay in to a couple dollars a month, $50 a month, to the private security to help them have a presence there. And if there's a problem, you can reach out. With Numandi being there, that means more security. You have the point right across the street. They have security guard booths. They're always kind of hanging out around there out front. So it does make you feel a little safe in the area. And it's nice to bring that much wealth, 80 homes starting at, $700 in the $700,000 range. And obviously the people buying in there are going to be, hopefully upstanding citizens.
This, so we basically, to go, on our virtual tour here from this entrance, we're driving towards the beach at Avellanas with Numandi located here in this patch. As Justin was saying, it's a very quick walk down to the river mouth that when it's dry, you can also get to the beach there, right?
Yes.
You also can come down here and access Avellanas through other places during the rainy season. Yeah, very interesting to think of the amount of jobs that a project like that will create, since in Avellanas there's currently not much going on. You can imagine how 80 homes that require weekly cleanings, property managers, all of the plumbers, electricians, etc. to keep it going. That will be a pretty big impact on the community. Richard, thank you very much for mentioning that our audio is horrible. I'm sorry to hear that. It's not. Dimitri says it's fixed, so he says it's at least acceptable, and Dimitri has very high standards. I mean, look at who he works with. No one got that, but that's fine. That was a joke.
Oh yeah,
That was the role on
the applause sign was broken. I'm sorry.
So anyway, Humanity's down here. Let's continue back with our driving through town here. I wanted to mention is we were looking across from Numandi. There are lots for sale there across the road.
Yes.
How much do you pay for a a lot with a water letter in Avellanas right now?
So in this area, I would say for like a quarter of an acre lot, so 1,000 square meter will be around $150,000 with a water letter.
Yep, and that water access is still critical because the city water came to Avellanas, but it came in a very limited amount. It was actually a specific pipeline that connected with, 400 some, basically a certain number of water meters that they were going to allow based on that connection. So this burst that's happened in Avellanas is actually going to be limited,
Yes.
thankfully, to exactly the number of those water connections that they had given out. And what we're seeing is everybody bought up those connections and they're developing them basically in the last 2 years. So as we drive through town here, we're still probably a more like a 10-minute walk from the beach. You're not really exceptionally close. You can see some of the new construction as we whiz through here on the left and get closer to the water itself. Sorry for the me holding the phone out the window style video. And here we are arriving at the point, one of the new gated communities that has come up in the last few years in Avellanas. Our colleague Jürgen Chinchilla currently has a condo in the point listed for sale. Have you been inside there yet? I haven't been inside. What's it like?
I've seen a property. Well, I mean, it is like, it looks like townhouses, right? So it's a gated community, you have security, and you have these townhouses around the community pool. This is basically the layout. And then, well, I mean, they're brand new, they're in the price range between 300 and 400, I believe.
Okay.
So they're well priced for Avellanas. Now it's pretty hard to find something in this price point. And then, like if it's for you, it's great. I mean, if you like gated community, feel secure, the location is good, and then you have your brand new little townhouse, and some neighbors.
This is the point here on Google Maps, thanks to the helpful folks at Google for providing these.
Yes, and you can see here they are still building. They're doing the last phase on the right. Yes.
Oh, so that's more of the point.
That's more of the point.
Okay.
I think it is the last phase, and those are 2-story townhouses.
I'm happy to hear that because I saw this other project going on there and thought, another project, But yes, the point, you do see the resales listed between that $300,000 to $400,000 range. Definitely, they originally sold a good deal lower than that at their pre-construction phase. You have the appreciation of the market going on. You've got the scarce lack, rather the fact that condos in Avellanas that are close to the beach are always going to be very scarce. So obviously people aren't going to try to lose money when they go to resell their condo and are hoping to make a profit. Let's keep driving along here through Avellanas, and we're coming around the corner. On the right, worth mentioning, is a burger restaurant, our Roomies. This whole commercial center has actually changed into much more active place over the years.
Yes, right, and I'm gonna just say here, I'm calling all the business owners, because now that we're gonna have so many houses in Avellanas, I mean, we have a few very good restaurants now. We've got like top-ranked restaurants, but just a few. And then we're lacking of amenities, right? So I'm making a call to business owners, like Avellanas is going to need all these amenities so then people can do stuff. Like I cannot do my nails in Avellanas if I want to. And I'm very frustrated about it. So I hope someone is going to put a spark here someday.
Yeah, I was recently going through my mani-pedi, super frustrated that I had to go all the way to Tamarindo. Here's the entrance to the river mouth as we turn around out the corner here in Avellanas and continue. This is really the strip that sort of feels like the section of road that will eventually be the Avellanas downtown sort of corridor. We eventually turn to the right and head to Lola's, but as we, I think as I look to my left here, hopefully I caught one of the hotels we really like in the area as we fly by. Let's see if we catch this sign here. This is Soulshine. It's a hotel and restaurant run by Israelis who have brought some of the most amazing food to Avellanas, in my opinion. I was going to ask, have you guys eaten at Soulshine?
I've stayed at Soulshine a few times, especially when we were building, and I've eaten there. Me and my wife a whole bunch. My brother hasn't yet. I think we should bring him there for breakfast because their French toast is like beyond imagination.
Yeah. No, yeah. They have French toast. They make shakshuka. Every dish on their menu is extremely good. And yeah, they deserve a huge plug because some of the best food in Avellanas is at the Soulshine Hotel that we just passed here as we come through. Here we continue to fly along.
I'm sorry, my bad, I was driving.
No, this was driving. I told her we needed to be back here to start preparing for things. And you can still see, even as we talk about Avellanas as this quickly growing area and someplace that's, let's stop here for a second. Even though we talk about this explosion in Avellanas, it is still an extremely small Guanacaste rural town where you have 30 seconds of nothing but driving by the forest in between your points of interest. So here we're looking left down this road. We're getting more into the heart of town. If we wanted to look at the map here, man, I've got so much stuff open. We're coming through Avellanas and arriving at this road intersection right here. Oh, no, this one. Wait, no. We're about to come up to this location here, whether we're there yet or not.
No, so right now we are at the intersection where One Life is, the hotel, right? And also where I have two very nice listings that I deeply cherish, and I invite you to come and visit them. There are two completely different listings. One of them is a fully remodeled 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that feels very homely, which is very comfortable on a beautiful land. And the other one is a 5-bedroom, 5-bath that needs a remodel on a very big land that's also a mixed-use land. So, like perfect for the nail salon maybe, and also a retreat center or a boutique hotel, right? Because there are not so many hotels after all in Avellanas. Some of them have been there for many, many years, and I love Avellanas Solas, who were the pioneers who discovered Avellanas when there was no road, no electricity, nothing. But then there is still a huge potential for businesses.
Yeah, so this is Cabinas Las Olas, one of the pioneer founder businesses. Roger and his family have been there for ever. Yeah, none of us know when they actually arrived here because it was long before any of us. You've got the Soulshine Hotel. This is the road that we were looking down to drive straight to One Life Villas here. Again, one of the most intelligently planned businesses ever. But you also have two of Camille's listings that are two of the only walking distance, to the beach properties in Avellanas. And we're talking up here, these two.
Yes. Which is a great location because you're just like one street from the main road, so you don't get all the traffic and the dust, at this time of year from the main road, but you're very centrally located. You can actually walk to the restaurants and to the beach in just a few minutes.
Now, yeah, absolutely, I heartily agree. You can see as we're driving down this road in this video, this is the traffic and the dust and everything that you would have if you own property right here. Camille's listings and Justin's villas are 1 block removed from all of this traffic and great location, absolutely. There is Cabinas Las Olas on our right-hand side as we turn right. And
I was just going to mention something about Cabinas Las Olas. So a lot of people watching the video may have been there before or been to Avellanas before, and they know about that bridge that goes from Las Olas to the ocean.
Yeah.
And everyone likes to go there and take photos. So Cabinas Las Olas has a lot of foot traffic going through their front gate now that the area is growing. So he's decided to put a security guard there, and now he's charging people $4 entry from
his hotel
to walk through the hotel from the gate. So some of the hotels like me and Soulshine, we are actually paying him a monthly fee to allow our guests go through that gate and see his hotel, stop at his restaurant, and use that bridge. And the money that we're paying him just goes to help pay for that bridge.
Yeah.
And if people want to see the bridge, they can still use the access from the beach and walk on it and take photos. He just doesn't want all the people walking through his property and parking their cars there. So he will charge access. That's fine. It's good. He kind of needs that.
Yeah.
And just kind of dials it back a little so his guests have a more enjoyable, undisturbed stay.
Of course, but I cannot even believe they had we all had free access for so long. I mean, I don't know, my hero, you've been so good to the community, thank you. But so much maintenance nowadays that the beach is way more crowded.
Totally.
That it's totally fair. I mean, and we want to support this beautiful boardwalk.
Yep, absolutely. I was gonna, because I don't ever find myself in a situation I'm at Avellanas and then you get to the beach. I'm always somewhere else and I just drive to the beach. I have no idea how people in that community walk out there. So as Justin was mentioning, it's $4 through Cabinas Las Olas, or if you're staying at a hotel that is participating with him with his membership, you'll be able to come and go, and that walking distance is extremely short. So here we're coming up on a major intersection and La Esquina in Avellanas, which is an outdoor event center, mini mall kind of feeling. They have Taco with incredibly tasty Mexican food. They have, I'm trying to think of some, I only
They
eat
have
Taco.
Brazilian tapioca, they have sushi now, they have Argentinian grill, they have a wonderful street store.
Okay.
I love street stores and I'm so happy they opened there.
Yeah.
And also an organic market, and I think a swimsuit shop too.
This is the Esquina, which here I'm getting disoriented again. We are right here. La Esquina in Spanish means the corner, and you can imagine why they named their property La Esquina. As we turn around though, we actually head down towards the beach. We will loop around and come the other direction. This is the road down to the world famous and long-lasting Lola's. Lola's is another business that's been there since anyone can remember in Avellanas. As we drive down to it, I was amazed. Even today I said, this has changed so much since the last time I was here. I think I was probably at Lola's like 3 or 4 months ago. And some of this new construction we're seeing, this wall on our right-hand side, there's a new home on your left that I didn't necessarily focus on.
Yes, well, of course, this is kind of the main, you have the main road and then you have the main road to the beach. This is the perfect location for whoever, wants to put, we've seen little burritos and bowls stand to. There is a new thing to eat there too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the closest you can get to Lola's and the main entrance to the beach.
Yep. That was just here, the entrance to Lola's and the beach coming up here in the frame. And if we're looking at it on the map again, we are ending up down here at Lola's in this corner.
So here nowadays you have 1,000 square meters, so a quarter of an acre at $350,000
Yeah.
right now on the market with water.
That's unsurprising. I mean, Lola's has always been this institutional business that was the only thing to do in Avellanas. They had absolutely jam-packed crowds more days of the year than any other business in our area. It's a beautiful surf break, beautiful design, on and on and on. As soon as there was water in Avellanas, one of the connections went to build a second restaurant right next door to Lola's because it didn't take genius to realize that that was a good potential business. And we now have La Puruja next door to Lola's. Personally, I've eaten there once and it was fine. It was completely comparable. Have you had the food there?
Yes, I had food a long time ago when they opened. Yes, I mean it's a beachfront restaurant.
Yeah. Where's the food better, Justin? Lola's or Puruja?
Well, I don't want them to recognize me, so
What do you say?
I said I don't want them to recognize me and think there's you don't want to, but they're definitely food is different. It's good on both sides, and Peru had just updated their menu this year. So if people were there last year and I don't know, want to try it again and have a different menu, they can try that this year and have a different menu.
Yeah, I was trying to cop out there, and make him say which he preferred.
You can't.
I can't cop out though. No, they're both great beachfront places.
No, I mean, they'll find me. They'll hunt me down. You just can't.
I'm about to say, that's why I'm not saying word one about, whose food I like better. We're driving along the beachfront here. This road, was a little busy there. Basically you're going along the absolute oceanfront areas here in Avellanas. You've got concession properties that I bet would not even actually have active concessions. These are homes that have been there. They have rights to their property to be there. They're based on their historic presence, but it's not actual real estate, I'm afraid to say. If you're dreaming of owning on Lola's beachfront, you can't.
No beachfront. I think it's nice personally. I mean, I love beachfront houses, but also I think it's very nice that we have those properties, beachfront that has been owned by families from Santa Cruz, and don't want to sell, just want to keep their shack on the beach and come and relax. I think it's very important also to preserve the beachfront in Avellanas.
100%. We did have a question, and I appreciate that, Rod. Someone had asked, Rod had asked if we could comment on surfing towns and the culture that Avellanas certainly is.
Yes.
Do you feel like Avellanas is developing into a pure surfing town kind of place?
I think Avellanas started as a surfing town for sure. I mean, in Avellanas you have amazing waves. You have more than one compared to Playa Negra when you have only this one amazing wave but only one peak. In Avellanas you have for every level of surfing, you have low tide, high tide, mid tide surfing. So definitely the core community is a surfing community. Now the beach is so nice that I don't surf. I lived 10 years in Avellanas and I love it because you have the white sand and you can swim. So I think now it's opening up to more people.
I was going to say, yeah,
than before.
You're right about that. And Avellanas is also the first town south of Tamarindo. So you're seeing a lot of families who don't want to live in Tamarindo look for options like Avellanas, and not just because the surf is there. Yes, the first 200 foreigners who moved to Avellanas were almost purely looking for that surf. Now that the community is growing, you're really seeing an influx of a more diverse array of people. And a lot of times, you know, it's funny, the comment that someone mentioned, sort of that surf culture town. There are towns that, so first of all, let's say there are surfers who are multi-millionaire, billionaire lawyers and doctors and retired physicists out there. One of the most shocking things for me being from Indiana was coming to Costa Rica and meeting retirees for whom the most important thing in the world was surfing. People who had other careers in dentistry or whatever. So they're a diverse class of people. There are towns that are extremely cheap that have perfect surf to go along with that extremely cheap travel experience. And yes, that is frequently the surf culture town travel experience that you might see and that you might be asking about. When you get cheap hostels close to a great surf break in a country where the cost of living is very close, you know, very cheap, you're gonna have just the evolution of a town towards cheap visitors, you know, that whole thing happening, lots of fun, partying, reggae music playing at all hours. But, you know, in a town like Avellanas, you actually have access to private schools as one of the key factors that brings people. You have a lot of people who really wanted to find a swimmable beach because there aren't that many in Costa Rica.
Yes, and a place less crowded than Tamarindo. I mean, let's face it, Tamarindo, Costa is very crowded on the beach, and so much. You know, surf is a sport, right? It's not necessarily. I mean, it comes with the like state of mind, like you know, ocean, but it's a sport. Like many people who are not backpackers do surf, as you mentioned, right? So yeah, I mean, good waves brings surfers for sure.
Yeah, no, rich surfers are our best clients, and they're not just, you know, 20-something stoners. It's you know, this is a real sport that has a very diverse following too. Anyway, it's a weird way for an Indiana guy to talk about surfing. I don't surf personally. Let's now talk about where we're driving. We're back on the main road. If I can get us positioned correctly here, we're gonna finish our tour through Avellanas. We go back away from the water first. So if we would turn south there, we would be at Lagartijo.
Yes, where I have a very nice 2-acre lot for sale at $150,000, which is nice because then you have Lagartijo Beach, which is not known at all because there is no surf and there is no one there. But it's really steps from Avellanas. And it's, so then, you know, the price is less per square meter tremendously. And now we're going towards the enclave, which was the second gated community to raise in Avellanas. By now, I think they're at phase 3 or 4, and as of today, they sold 60% of the houses, and it's kind of the same concept as the Point. So you have a townhouses around the community hall.
Yep. And here we can, as we drive back to the enclave location, here's another one where you're not a quick walk to the beach. You are a very fast drive and, you know, tucked into what will eventually be a expanding, you know, sort of more developed area, so it will feel more downtown someday.
Yes, exactly. This is like the natural growing also of Avellanas. That's the south of Avellanas that's growing because the enclave came, and then there is this new house also that's for sale right now. And now we're starting to have, I think within the last month, we had 2 lots come on the market with water in that same street. So it's definitely going to be also a growing area because we're so close to the water.
Yep. So here, to give you the geographic explanation, we turned inland once we had gone, you know, Lola's is up here, we came down along the beach, turned inland and came all the way to the enclave, tucked back in the woods here. It's another location that would really offer you, you know, the good side of being close to the water and in a beach community, but also you would avoid the noise, dust, traffic, etc. that come with the main road and all the complications there. Let's go back here as we're driving through. This is the enclave. We turn around here. We go back to the main road. There is their entrance. There's going to be 51 total villas in the enclave, around 3 or 4 total pools, maybe 5 or 6. I've had trouble keeping track. And now here we are driving from the enclave entrance back through Avellanas. I'm going to show again on the map here. Just a moment. Here we took a turn to head this direction to complete the loop that we would be taking, sort of around what would be the most central areas of Avellanas. And so now we're driving this direction. And as great evidence of how fast stuff is happening there, look at this picture. You know, we've got nothing on Google Earth except for one house on your left. In this picture, La Esquina is, I guess, just under construction or not really fully built, but there's none of the stuff that you are about to see on either side of us as we drive back into town here.
Yes, so this is the main road in Avellanas. This is the main road. I mean, we'll see how it looks like in 10 years. It's sort of interesting to see who has developed, businesses. And so here on this main road, there is a brand new development also called Avellanas. We're just flying by. So Avellanas is going to be another development of about 15 houses, very pretty, very nice design. That starts at $689,000 for a 3-bedroom house with a pool.
And you said 15, 1-5?
15, yes.
Okay. Absolutely, Avellanas. And here we're coming back into the main drag here. You can see a lot of construction that doesn't appear on Google Earth. To our right, there are good restaurants. To our left, there are good restaurants.
Yes, new business center too in Avellanas. Somebody already, came in the business game, so that's nice.
Absolutely, we have the business center there as well. There's Il Rustico, amazing Italian food.
Yes.
But
Fuego Blue as well, who's doing also good food and wine. It's a wine and wood oven pizza and wings.
yeah, absolutely. I realized we've been sitting here, I'm hungry, and that's why the conversation has deviated so much to food. We are meaning to talk about real estate, however, you can see that Avellanas is quickly becoming a different place. Right now, whereas 20 years ago, it was absolutely undeveloped with every Costa Rican selling their land and sort of, just a few surfers who were out there. Today, it's rapidly changing.
Yes.
You've got the enclave with 51 villas. You've got the point with a few dozen. You have New Mandi with close to 80 homes. You have Avellanas with 15. Am I forgetting anything?
No, I think this is it for the gated communities. So, basically nowadays, we're going to have many brand new houses within gated communities available. And then, as you can see, the inventory is always very little for already built houses on private land. That's why I'm so happy I have 2 of those listings.
Yeah.
Because now the price of land has been, so expensive now that, it's also nice to be able to find a piece of land with a house already built on it. And then, if you don't want to be, in the gated community.
Absolutely. The land prices have soared in Avellanas. That water access made development possible. Nowadays, you're looking at $150,000 for a quarter acre that is set back from the beach.
Yes.
If you want to be on Lola's Road, right in the heart of the beach access, we're talking about $300,000 for a site that is about 1/5 of an acre, about 800 to 1,000 square meters. As you consider your options in Costa Rica. And I'm going to throw this back over to our studio audience one last time. Why, if people are out there watching, why would be what are the top reasons they should think of Avellanas? Or what's the profile of person who should be sure to visit?
I guess Well, it kind of breaks down to a couple different things. For starters, like my guests, about in the low season, about 80% of my guests are from San Jose, coming down to see. It's usually young couples because our villas are, with one king size bed in there, and that's what we attract, is kind of romantic couples. But I find that also when we go out at night on Friday nights, we all go out and meet each other or meet people on the beach. But you do see it as a lot of couples. Another thing, or another lot of our guests are retirees. Right now, it's the high season. I found throughout the high season, about 70% of our guests are American, Canadian, European retirees that are using their money to travel or maybe interested in purchasing real estate. We don't have that big, you think it is a surf beach or surf area, but it's not really just, surfers. That's a small amount of the people that are traveling there, but they are what you see when you get to the beach. Yeah. And you wonder, like, where are they all staying? Like, there's 200 surfers down there. And you do think, like you mentioned, there's not a lot of hostels there. There's one hostel right now. I think they only have a couple of rooms. And I don't see any new hostels being built there, because when you look at hostel prices right now in Costa Rica, they're charging $80 a room in a hostel, or $40 for a bed in a dorm. When you're looking at the hotels like myself, charging $130 or something a night, hostels used to be $8 or $10. And so you're not going to, like you said, and the hostels are usually close to the beach. And like you said, those properties close to the beach on that strip are $500,000 properties. No one's going to spend $500,000 properties to put up a hostel where they're going to charge $8 a night.
The 200 surfers on Avellanas' various surf breaks every day would honestly be a great place to meet real estate clients. There are a lot of people traveling through the area, tons who own property in Hacienda Pinilla, where your minimum price for anything starts close to $1 million. An undeveloped lot is going to be close to $400,000 these days. The surf crowd is coming to Avellanas, hitting the break, and then going to other places. Avellanas itself is attracting the same kind of Costa Rica tourists that you see in a lot of the coast. Retirees who don't want to go to a party town. Families who really want to get a calm, sort of family-based experience rather than one that's totally Disney World. And so, yes, the community attracts a ton of people like you who might be watching right now and interested in real estate. Realize I haven't put in my email address since the beginning of the episode. That's the last thing we're going to do. If you want to call me or email me at matt@costaricamatt.com. It's been a sincere pleasure as always. Thanks very much for watching, folks, and adios.